and welcome to my channel. It's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and I thought I'd bring you a Heaven and Earth Designs sort of let's whip and chat for a little bit, and I thought I'd give you the story of why there's not been one of these videos up before. So I am just doing a batch of 939s. You may notice I've got a tablet on a stand with my pattern, and you may notice that it also looks a bit different, and that's part of the reason that I've not been doing as much of this as I was hoping, and that's half a diamond. Don't want half a diamond, I'd like a complete diamond, please. So I am currently still working on page 2. There is a lot of 939s on this upper section, so I figured we'll do a batch of 939s with you, because then I don't have to concentrate quite as much, and we can chat about what's been going on with my Heaven and Earth designs and what stopped me. What has stopped me? Well, let me just count across. Sorry, I've got 3 symbols on this chart that are not 939s. So what I thought I'd do first off is I would, in this square, sorry, on this chart, in this square, what I thought I'd do is I'd just do all the way around it now, so that I have that gap, and then I know I can just fill in the rest. So I'm just going to go around this. I could just pull out the symbol, to be honest, but that's not what's highlighted at this time. So yeah, I was using the Easy PDF app to do my Heaven and Earth designs, because I have an iPad. I am an Apple user, as they say. I use a Mac, I use an iPad, I use an iPhone. They work for me, they all sync together for me. It's what I like, it's what I prefer to use. So I was using an app that had been raved about, and you know, quite rightly so, as in being a good app for Heaven and Earth designs, to be able to search for the symbols. You've seen me use it in past whip and chat videos, and it worked great. Then I got out my Heaven and Earth designs. I was like, right, let's do a little whip and chat. Opened up the app, Easy PDF app, and it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't search. It would zoom in, so it wasn't like the whole app was frozen. It wouldn't search for a symbol, wouldn't let me highlight a symbol. It had a proper meltdown, full-on meltdown. So I uninstalled the app, I reinstalled the app. There was no updates, I'd already checked for those, and it still would not have a bar of it. I even tried importing the document again with nothing that I'd already marked off, to see if somehow the file had got corrupted. Nah, nada would make this app work, which is rather disappointing, especially when you've paid for an app. You've got something that is doing what you want it to do, and it's not having it. So I did ask in the Heaven and Earth Facebook design group, you know, what does everybody else use? What else works good? I did mention I was using an iPad, and while, you know, there were some people that mentioned, I think Goodreads was mentioned as a good app to use. A lot of people still mentioned the app called Pattern Keeper, which is only available on Android, but a lot of people mention that app. It's got a lot of mentions recently, especially on that group. I've seen YouTube videos on it. I've seen comments on how it's changed the way people, you know, either do the heaven and earth design painting or even do their cross stitching, because that's what it's primarily made for. And yeah, it's, oh sorry, I'm just highlighting. It actually gives me the option to highlight all of that symbol in the one square. I mean, how many times was I tapping on each symbol on the own app? So anyway, it's had amazing reviews. It is only available on Android. You do get a free trial. Let's see how many, 6. So on this next square, I've only got one symbol that is something else. So I'm just counting across to do the 6. And then I'll just put myself a little buffer zone around this one. Oh, I might need some more wax in my pen. I've not long put some in this. There we go. Put a little buffer zone around there, and then I can fill in the rest. So yeah, you do get a 2 weeks free trial with this app, and then it is something that you do need to purchase. But I must say, I've only just started using it. It's amazing. So when the app first wasn't working, just to rewind a little bit, when the app first wasn't working, say I tried downloading it again, I tried a different file, everything, couldn't get it to work. I'd asked on the forums for other apps, and apart from potentially Goodreads, it was all about Pattern Keeper being amazing. And I kind of knew that, but I had an iPad. So I joined the Pattern Keeper Facebook group. I had a look, you know, to see, has anybody asked, is it coming to iOS? And the response was, yes, but we don't know when. Well, I don't know when means it's too long for me to wait. In my opinion, I was like, straight up, okay, that's going to be longer than I'm happy to wait, because I am wanting to get on with this design. I'm wanting to have more regular videos going up on my channel. I don't know when it's going to come out. It isn't going to work for me. So we had a bit of a night of Googling and brainstorming, looking at a few different things, looking at how we could get the app on my iPad without voiding the warranty was the idea. So looking at getting the app on the iPad, we looked at using an emulator on my Mac to do it on the Mac. We looked at all hosts of things, and also weighing up, you know, what worked for us. My iPad's quite new. My husband does have an older iPad. He's like, oh well, I'll just do it on this one and you can use this. But I'm like, yeah, but borrowing your iPad, he likes to watch TV on the iPad most evenings. The whole bringing it into my craft room, having to remember to bring it out, take it back upstairs. Oh, it's the small things, but it's the things that I didn't have with my iPad. I could leave it in my craft room if I wanted. So yeah, there was in and in, and then I was off work one day. I had a day off in the week, had an appointment later on in the day, and hubby just said to me, he said, look, he said, it's your YouTube, you do it a lot, you're going to use it, go and get yourself an Android tablet. So I had a look. There are some amazing tablets out there. I didn't want to spend a fortune because I knew primarily all this would really be used for is for this. Once I've used this app and done this design, then it may have another use. one of the kids might use it. Hubby's iPad, that is a lot older iPad. He might decide to, you know, watch his TV shows and YouTube on this instead. But it needed to be around 9 to 10 inches because I wanted the bigger screen, and it needs to be Android, which is not my normal way of doing things, but in this case that's what it needed to be. So I went and picked up a Huawei tablet. It's just over 9 inches, I think, that runs Android. I got home, I did whatever updates I needed to do, and I went straight and downloaded Pattern Keeper. And what can I say? Wow, I love it. Absolutely love it. It does exactly what it says. It is, as far as I'm aware, I'm not sure if the person actually is a cross stitcher, but it's made for cross stitchers. It's made for marking off a cross stitch design. So the features that it has are absolutely amazing. So just to give you a brief look at my chart, I'm sorry for the glare of the lights. That's the only thing, it's not as glare resistant, this screen. But if I move out, so you can still see the symbols at the moment here. I've got highlighted all the 939. But as you zoom further out, the symbols disappear because they're too small, but your highlight will stay. But this app does hold, come on, the whole pattern. I think it's zoomed out as far as it can. Let's get rid of that sidebar. Just let it reload. I think it's also because it's got the search feature on as well, but it holds the whole pattern. So that is all my 939s across all the pages. It doesn't work with all cross stitch manufacturers, but it does work with Heaven and Earth Designs, which I'd already looked into. You see how much 939 I've got on that page? Wowzers! But what I really like is when you mark where you've completed, it fills in the colour. So I may have to do a proper review on this, where I turn the lights off so that you can see what it is. But it fills in the design as you colour it in. So as you mark something as completed, it marks it in the colour that the square's supposed to be. It has all your numbers here and the quantities that you use. So 939 is the one I've highlighted at the minute, so that stays at the bottom until I pass where the 939 should go. If we keep scrolling, I will get there. So many colours. So once we get close to 939 and pass it, it takes its place, and then when we go further up, it stays at the top. How awesome is that? I don't tend to use the colour chart thing quite as much, but I definitely use the feature. So you can also choose, for example, to, once you've got a highlight, if you press on the little highlight tab, press and hold, and it gives you the option to select all finished highlighted stitches in the square. So I can mark one colour as completely done, or you can highlight them separately and press clear. So we just go back to move again. That's the only thing, is it doesn't do sort of multiple functions. You have to tell it which one you're doing. But really, in the grand scheme of things, this app is amazing. I am going to save so much time marking off symbols in a square. I'm finding so far it doesn't tend to find more than one symbol of. So on the last app, occasionally, because I've got 239 colours, occasionally when it was searching for one symbol, it would in fact find two, because one of them was a keyboard shortcut using a certain font, or, you know, it would find two symbols. I've not found this happens with this. I find when you're searching for one symbol, you do only get that one symbol, which is really, really good. Right, I'm here sticking 939s down, and I do have a batch of a different symbol. So let's tip a few of these out and let's get ourselves some little guidelines going. So I'm not sure if this is actually going to change up the way that I do my heaven and earth designs, because at the moment I did one page and then I've gone to do the second page. Because this app actually has the whole chart in it without it having a huge paddy, because the whole chart is stored in it, what I might do is I might actually work across in strips. So I'm actually working across 2 pages, but I'll work in strips all the way across, which I think may give a nicer effect. It might be easier to manage as well. So I'm just managing the design by a big long strip, really. There's no other real way to describe it, is there? It's a big long strip. So yeah, I may change up the way that I'm doing stuff. So we've got 3, 3, 1 and then 2. So I actually need to go, sorry, as I say, I'm just working round where I don't need to do. So that little section in there is actually the symbol G. 3, 3, 1 and 2. And then we do actually have a single one. So I think it's actually there. Let me just check my numbers. I think it goes there. So it's 5 from the bottom. Oh no, I was right the first time. It goes in the next one. There we go. So we've got 2 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's there. So let me just block that little part in, and then I can fill all the gaps around it with 939s. And yeah, I know a lot of people have commented to say that this app speeds their process up, that they've cross-stitched a lot more with it. It does not surprise me. You can spend so much time, and I know I've spent so much time marking off what you've done. So that is a lot of it, is you spend a lot of time marking the symbols that you've done, either sometimes highlighting a row. So easy PDF, you know, you could highlight a row, but you couldn't highlight one block and then a few below it, because it would just highlight the whole row. It was reading it as text and thinking that you wanted to highlight everything. It just was not possible with easy PDF. With this, you're highlighting the squares that your finger traces. So even if you're not choosing to highlight all of a single colour in a square, you can just trace your finger around and it will just highlight those symbols. So I think there is going to be so much time saved with highlighting symbols, which means that the time you do spend, you are actually being, oh, that's the wrong colour. You're actually being a lot more productive. You're spending your time placing the diamonds, which is what gets the picture done. So I'm hoping for a lot more progress, and that's the reason that I hadn't done the heaven and earth designs yet. That whole thought process and trying to find something else to be able to mark off the pattern and not get stuck. All that process happened over a certain period of time, which of course prevented me from doing my heaven and earth design while that was going on. So big apologies people, I am sorry, but I am getting back to it now. I do have a lot of 939s in this section, but I also do feel as though this section is going to start to see a lot more come together with the picture, and I am actually really excited about that. So I'm hoping that that will spur me on to get more done, and let you guys see the design come together. I may even do some time-lapse videos, and just pop them up every now and then, just set them to some music if I can find some that's not too annoying, but I'm allowed to put on YouTube. If anybody's got any suggestions of tunes that are, you know, free copyright, you know, anybody can use them, they can be played on YouTube without getting told off, but is music that is not annoying and that people would actually want to listen to, then by all means let me know in the comments below, and I can look at maybe doing a few time lapses where maybe I sit here doing my heaven and earth designs, not having to think of something to chat about. Maybe I'll still do chatty ones, but ones where I don't have to think, where maybe I just want to come in and do a bit of diamond painting without chatting, and I can set myself up with a YouTube video. Maybe I could probably even put that on my iPad. Watch some YouTube on my iPad, off shot of course, while working on my heaven and earth designs a bit closer up so that you guys can see the image come together. Let me know if that's something that you'd like to see, because that might be something that I can get up a little bit more often, or maybe a little bit easier than a whip and chat. A whip and chat, I need to make sure that, you know, I've got a set amount of time to do a chunk. I've got something to chat about. And sometimes you just have to be in the mood to want to chat. And sometimes it's like, oh, I'll go do something, then I'm like, nah, really. Let's be honest, I don't even want to talk to myself. You know, that sort of thing. So let me know if that'll interest you as well. And I'll look at seeing if I can make that work. Just sit here and film, and then just set some music and let you guys see how it's all turning out. But yeah, I think that's my update in relation to the app, why I've not been here, what has caused me problems. But yeah, I am gonna, I say it every time, but I am stepping up my game with my heaven and earth designs. It is one of my commitments for the new year, is to try and get a bit more structure, or maybe even let me know what things you do want to discuss. I don't mind doing whip and chats. Sometimes it's just what to discuss while doing whip and chats. Topics that will interest, you know, a lot of people, rather than just maybe me having a moan, which is probably not good. I try and, you know, come up with all my little hints and tips that I may or may not have for diamond painting as I go along. This one not so much, because I am just doing 939s. So, oh, press and hold, highlight all in the, oh, look at that. How much quicker is that than it has ever been? Remember to hit on the move so I can get to my last square. And then it's actually all 939s in the last square. So this top section has not had a lot of anything else. There's a few bits. So there's a few bits of other colours. We can start to see what I think is a sort of starburst, and we've got some little white bits here that are the tree. They are all other different symbols, but I thought it'd be nice to see a little bit of quicker progress by just getting a load of 939s down. Lots and lots of 939s, getting them all down, get this design moving, and then maybe we'll fill some gaps up on the next WIP and chat. I have got a few in here that are not the right colour, but seeing as they have all come from spares, I'm not surprised. Things do sort of just get trapped up. I know stuff can get trapped up in my spares, you know, if diamonds come and they're not the right colour. Do we go to a full? Oh yeah, we do. I was trying to work out if I actually went to a full 10 square and that's where the image finished. Yeah, this was just the measuring of the chart, actually made it go 1 square over, being a straight round number. But I will chop off the rest of it, the rest of the double sticky sided tape when I'm done. But yeah, let's get some 939s down. Let's get something that looks like a bit of movement on this. I'll get some gaps filled in with it as well. There are some great videos, you know, little video tutorials on the Pattern Keeper app. So if maybe you do have an Android, if you have an Android tablet, definitely check it out if you're doing a Heaven and Earth designs, or even if you do cross stitch as well. But definitely check it out, because so many people have said how much this is a game changer, and even for the very short period of time that I've been using it, it is. I mean, just on these 939s alone, it's a game changer, not having to highlight every single one, or having to highlight in 10 different rows, having to flatten the image every time. You know, you'd have to keep flattening the image to make sure that you could pick up the next stitch. All of that is now gone. It's gone from my life. I'm not taking the time to do it. So this app is worth its weight in gold for me already. So you do get I think it's a 2-week free trial, and this is the first time I've managed to actually get some of my Heaven and Earth design done since I got the tablet, because I thought I was going to get some done last weekend, but then it ended up that both my elder girls were home, and we ended up putting the tree up and all that sort of stuff. So I didn't get to do any as quick as I wanted. So I am actually coming nearly to the end of my 2-week trial. If it had ran out today, I would buy it. And the only reason I've not already hit the buy button, because say it is a fantastic one, is that I've not quite done a section with a lot of different symbols yet. So I've not spent a good chunk of time on the app. If I'd have done a few different sessions of this using different symbols, I probably would have bought it already. And that's just based on my experience so far. It has been absolutely amazing so far. So check it out for yourselves. Get your own free 2-week trial and see what you think. And I'm sorry, iPad. As much as I love using an iPad, they just haven't got this app yet. Just haven't got the app yet. So if it comes out on Apple, I'm sure I'll switch back. Because I do like my iPad do like using the Apple just because all my files save in the same place and stuff. But save that, highlight all in the square, yes. So now when I move out, even just this small section, if I just move out far enough, it's already changed the colour. So if I actually take the search off, so if I take the search off the tablet, say you can't see it wonderful, but you can sort of see it. I'm trying to work out whether it's better to keep it in a light or not in a light, but it's changed all of the 939s to be a dark blue. So you can see these lighter sections here, and then of course as I fill in more of the blues, we'll see even more of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the WIP and chat here because I'm not sure what else to talk about at the moment, and I am just doing 939s. I'm going to keep plodding on and do a few more 939s, I think, because there is such a big batch. I'm going to do the whole big batch and maybe see if it'll work a bit better. You know, getting out, say, the colour that is all around here and here, and maybe doing those all in a batch, maybe doing more than one square. I won't do it for a lot when it gets busier down here, but for these sort of top bits, I think it might work well. I'm going to give it a go anyway. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.